And we are live. Can everybody see me and can everybody hear me? All right. Let me make sure this gets sent out appropriately. Hold on. Okay, I think we're all set, ready to go. Okay. We're good, right? You can see me and hear me? Okay, so that did not go the way we wanted it to go at all. Disappointing game from the Seahawks. They dropped to 6-5, losing to a hapless Las Vegas Raiders game. They Raiders did a great job running the ball. Their offensive line played phenomenally well. Defense made a few plays. Not really a good defense, but they made a few plays. Uh, it's definitely humbling and it's definitely a little frustrating, maybe even a little embarrassing. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one, guys. Obviously, it sucks to lose. I fully expected to win. Seeing your defense play that poorly against a wounded offense is terrible. But I'm trying to keep perspective here as well. And bottom line is that the this team was supposed to be rebuilding, so can't be terribly surprised when stuff like this happens. It's not happening as much as we thought it would, but it is occasionally happening. So obviously, as of right now, the Seahawks are out of the playoffs. Plenty of time to correct that, but this was one of the games that was supposed to be a pretty easy win. And you had multiple opportunities to put the game away at the end. Geno got the ball twice, just needing to go get in field goal range. And they couldn't even pick up a first down, I don't think. So that's tough. I can't really hold too much against the offense, though, when the defense plays that bad. Just a tough game, but we expected a lot of this year. There's honestly been a lot less of this than we expected. Um, so not really angry anymore. I was angry right after the game ended for very obvious reasons. But at this point, all I can say is that there, a lot of people were all over, Pete Carroll these last month and a half. Being very positive about him, including me. But it's time for him to start earning his money again, because whatever he did to try to fix the defense, it stopped working. And at the end of the day, I can understand this defense not being great, but there's no way it's okay for this defense to be this bad. This is worst in the league type stuff, really. One second, I gotta bump my TV over a little bit. Let's see here. Not a huge fan of the way the game was being called on offense. It wasn't bad overall. I wouldn't say it was bad, but I would say that it was I I would say that we probably abandoned excuse me, we didn't abandon, but we left Abe Lucas out to dry a few too many times. Like, you left him in single coverage on the two biggest snaps of the game, and he gets destroyed by Crosby, as he's going to do a lot because it's Max Crosby. You should probably be trying to support that guy a little bit. Okay. What is wrong? Okay, there we go. Or no, no, that's not it. The hell. One second, guys. Let me try to fix my audio here. Okay, I think that'll work now. Okay, there we go. Yes. Y2KHA, thank you for the 4.99. How do you feel about prioritizing signing Daron Payne in the offseason? I like Daron Payne. It's a good idea. It's going to be a decent chunk of money, though, I will say that. So that's going to be your big investment for the offseason. You may not have a lot of money to do too much else. So as long as you understand that, I mean, I'm okay with it. You're going to have to hit the draft hard, but you can do it. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. Seattle felt inspired by Oregon's run defense. I guess. I guess. And you know Josh Jacobs was not even 100% today. You know physically he was not 100%, and yet he still destroys you. So, in any case, I don't have too much else to say about the game. It wasn't all bad. Geno played a really good game. Maybe it wasn't amazing, but he bounced back after some rough plays and played really well to put us in great positions to win this game. I can't get upset at Geno overall for this one. Honestly, offensively, at the end of the day, you're putting up 34 points on offense. Only thing I can say is Austin Blythe, that dude, that dude cannot, that dude cannot run block at all, and it is kind of a problem. Scott, thank you. Okay, Scott Chomitsky, thank you for the $10. Eagles signed Namkara Suh and Linval Joseph before last week's game. Where were we? Both players had huge games for the Eagles. I think this defense once again proved they cannot stop the run. Back-to-back games, we got destroyed by the run. Nice game for Diggs with 2 picks. All right, thank you, Scott. But what I would say about all that is I don't I don't know if one player on that defensive front is going to change is going to fix that much. I think the whole unit's just kind of bad, except for Shelby Harris and maybe Jordan Brooks. Maybe Jordan Brooks, but he has huge weaknesses in his game. So huge weaknesses. So I don't know. I don't think signing Sue would fix things, really. It's would fix one player in an entire front seven that I mean, the only guy who I think is consistently like actually good on an NFL level is Shelby Harris. And maybe Brooks, like I said. I mean, I don't see how anybody can watch the game today and come to the conclusion that we need anyone besides Will Anderson. Like, I'm sorry, but I know Jalen Carter makes sense, but you can get 3-4 down linemen without using a top 3 damn pick. You can get Will Anderson, the generational pass rush talent, when, I mean, you saw it in this game. It's not just Taylor doing nothing, okay? Taylor did nothing, but honestly, Nwosu did nothing for the second week in a row. He almost knocked Derek Carr out of the game, and then you didn't hear from him again until overtime was done. You know, Renegade, if you want to get banned from this channel, you're going about it the right way. Just putting that out there. We're not going to get the number 1 pick, guys. I'll talk more about this later. Houston's not winning. Houston's not winning another game, and if they do win another game, it's not going to be enough. I think Will Anderson will be there at 2, maybe 3. Stroud's going number 1. Cory Kuhn, would you, well, okay. Okay, well, let's reset here real quick. So that's about all I can say about this game, so I'm going to start fielding questions from the chat now. We got pretty low attendance at the moment, probably because we lost, probably because it's Thanksgiving weekend still. So not a ton of people are in here yet. I see not a lot of people are in the Hawks Nest stream either. So I'm sure we're going to pick up more guys as the night goes on. But thank you, everybody, for coming out to hang out with me on this disappointing Sunday night. Please like the stream if you haven't already. We've gotten about 90 people in here. We got 8 likes, so please like the stream if you haven't already. If you look to the left, you can see we have some very, very in-range goals here. We are 51 subscribers away. We are 51 subscribers away from 11,000. So if you're not subbed and you want daily Seahawks content on YouTube, hit the sub button. We can get there before the end of the month. We are 4 members away from the membership goal as well. So you can get a membership for yourself, $2 or $5 a month, or you can also gift a membership. Same area. And we also have super chat goals and tip goals. If you want to tip, click the link in the description, or do !tip and click that link. Oh, Big Patty Daddy, did you just become a member? I haven't seen the pop-up yet. Sometimes it takes a minute or two. I know, Charisma. Yeah, it's been going really quickly. But anyway, okay, let's start fielding some of these comments. So, I missed a lot of the earlier comments, but I'm just going to go ahead and start looking at it now. Ayush, only silver lining is that the Raiders are for sure not picking in front of Denver, I guess, but that was probably happening either way. It's not worth it, though, right? Like, that was probably going to be the case anyway, so it's not worth it. Unfortunately, that's just that's a very thin silver lining. DRXP thoughts on the refs? I mean, I didn't appreciate it. I'll tell you. I'll admit that I did not appreciate the work they did today. But I'm kind of... This is not the year for Seattle to get calls. Like, they're just not. Seattle's not getting calls. There have been years where they do. There have been years where they don't. This is just going to be one of those years where they don't. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99. Some of these fans want to tank at 6-5. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't want to tank. Look, if you get to like the last 2 games of the year and your team is like 2-13 and there's a player at number 1 overall you really, really like and you want to lose the last 2 games, okay, I get it. But the fact that some of you guys are even saying that stuff is just ridiculous. Do you not think our run defense 400 yards rushing against us the last 2 games is not our biggest problem? I mean, I think the biggest problem is just the front 7 in general. The front 7 in general, like Nwosu, I don't know if he's doing anything wrong. I can't really hold anything against him. But he's been kind of invisible. The middle linebackers get a lot of tackles because they're on the field 800% of the time. And we were doing more 2-man fronts today. What was up with that? Why are we doing that? That doesn't make any sense. Of course you're not going to be able to stop the run. I think just the front 7 in general is the biggest problem. I don't think our secondary played that bad. There were bad moments, but they played fine overall. I don't have a big problem with those guys. The only guy on offense I'm really upset at is maybe Will Dissly for that drop, but not really. Mostly it's just Austin Blythe. Stroud over Anderson. If you're going to need the number 1 overall pick to get Stroud, we're not getting the number 1 overall pick, so we're not getting Stroud. There's just no way. I don't think it's a worthy conversation topic at this point. Houston would have to win 2 games flat out. They would have to have out and out win 2 more games. Maybe they could get away with a win and a tie. But I don't understand the people going after Geno after this game, to be perfectly honest. You guys got to remember, this is a $7 million quarterback. If you want to win with him, you should be expecting to have to support him with a great defense, running game, offensive line. The fact that you've actually won some games this year where your defense was getting blown off the field, that's a huge, huge credit in Geno's direction. So I'm not saying anything bad about him right now, really. Oh, man. Geno looked frustrated today. He did, but he bounced back, and he put up 34 points on the board. Texans might go defense. They don't have a quarterback. They literally, they have benched Davis Mills. Kyle Allen is, like, they have the worst QB situation in the NFL right now. Like, why would they not go Stroud unless they really don't like Stroud? And even if they don't like Stroud, they can get Bryce Young. I don't like Bryce Young very much, but they could go get him. Yeah, the Geno disrespect is crazy. Made a few mistakes, but everything bad is getting overblown. Yeah, it's like people think he's making 50 million a year and needs to carry the team at all times. No, you know who should be carrying the damn team? Some of these guys on the front seven who got paid, like Puna Ford, Brian Monet. I mean, even Al Woods. He didn't get paid that much, but he did get paid. Should we have Woolen follow wide receiver ones all over the field like Revis used to? Adams kept picking on Jackson and Bryant. We don't really do that though. We've done that a couple times with Sherman, and Woolen is nowhere near Sherman's level. Like he's a rookie. He's a fifth round rookie who's barely played cornerback in his life. He's already overachieving massively. You want to ask him to be Deion Sanders now? I don't think that's good. What's up with the Legion of Room? We have Mike Jackson playing 13 yards off the entire game. The weird thing was he had a double team on a lot of those plays. Like we were double teaming Adams pretty good, and we actually did a pretty decent job against Adams. Just we gave up a couple crucial catches because we were in off coverage when we didn't need to be. So you think we drafted a quarterback this year? No. In fact, I think the odds of us drafting a quarterback before like the third round is minuscule. That's I think it's actually really small now. Especially with what happened in that game. Like looking at that game, you need to go into this draft and think with these top picks, edge rusher, defensive lineman, interior linebacker, like that whole area just needs serious work. When you add in the fact that this QB class actually kind of sucks, I don't think there's any reason to go get a quarterback until maybe in the third round you start looking at guys like Penix and DTR. Maybe. Maybe Anthony Richardson if he declares. Casey Jones, Quandre Diggs got his first two picks today. Unfortunately, the rest of his game was ass. Missed tackles, going for the big hit instead of wrapping up, not helping in coverage. I'm disappointed in his game. Yeah, he did have a couple lowlights. He gave up the touchdown. He missed a tackle that would have forced fourth down. Drop top, did you see DJU stats in that SC game? Yeah, DJU, I'm done with him. He's way too experienced at the college level to be playing this dumb. Where's Trey Brown? Trey Brown was in the game. Trey Brown was in the game. He didn't play a ton, but was I don't think Trey Brown or not having Trey Brown was the problem. I don't see how Trey Brown not being out there is a problem. Yeah, you could get like Cam Ward in the third. You could get Michael Penix in the third. You could get maybe DTR, although he hasn't played great lately. The way things are, I mean, if Anthony Richardson declares he might be a third round pick just because of his talent, but complete lack of good production would mean that he can't go in the top two rounds. What do you think on that DK catch? I mean, I can see why they called it no catch, but if you got to look at it for 15 minutes, you probably shouldn't be overturning it. Yeah, Ryan Neal being potentially seriously hurt is kind of a disaster, and we need to sign somebody if he's going to be out a while. Like, I don't know who, but it's got to be somebody. You think the Lions go edge or QB? I think the only teams in the way of us getting Will are the Lions and Bears. The Rams falling off is going to be a problem for us draft wise and Chicago's schedule. Um, I think the Lions, I mean, they could certainly use a quarterback. They don't have to get one, but Goff is not really having a great year. So I would expect them to take a quarterback if the quarterback is there. Y2K, I say do more short throws to Walker in these. We can't run games, get him in space. Yeah, that might be what we have to do because Austin Blythe just can't run block at all, and Gabe Jackson really doesn't offer much either. So that's two-thirds of your interior line that just isn't cutting it. Do you think we trade down if we don't get Anderson or Carter? Depends. Depends on who you really like. Do you like Miles Murphy enough to take him that high, or do you only want Miles Murphy if you can take him around 10? I totally agree. We do not need a quarterback. We need to draft heavy on defense, maybe only draft a center. I could see a scenario where that's actually going to work. I didn't see as much three tight end stuff in this game, I will say that. So I'm not in love with the way the game was called from Waldron's point of view. But at the end of the day, the offense played more than well enough to win. This defense gave up 40 points to a wounded Raiders offense at home. There's nothing to say about that other than you got to put it pretty much everything on the D. Yeah, not double teaming Crosby hurt. These are the little dings you can talk about when it comes to the offense, sure, and they deserve to be they deserve to be talked about. But I definitely have to focus in on that defense. And obviously, we know the defensive line doesn't have a ton of talent. We don't have great players on that defensive line. But at the same time, these are guys you chose to give money to. These are guys you chose to give money to, like Poona Ford. He's on a second contract. Brian Monet's on his second contract. Quentin Jefferson's on his third contract because he got his second one with the Raiders and now he's on his third one here. Like, these are guys you coveted. So if the defensive linemen are bad, then there's only so much you can just kind of blow that off as, we'll get him next year. Yeah, Monet looks like he was a mistake, unfortunately. It was always kind of a weird extension, I guess, but I liked him. There were some games where he looked dominant, but no consistency whatsoever. Big Patty Daddy hates saying stuff about refs, but man, we got it harder in the butt than Mia Khalifa with Mandingo. Whew. Okay. Oh, it won't let you super chat? You can try tipping if you want to, Big Patty. Uh, I mean, we get any of those calls down the stretch, I think we probably win the game, admittedly. And they just kept making the call that would keep the Raiders hanging around. And that was really annoying, but I can't completely disagree with all the calls. Amari Taylor, at this point, we should go after Caleb Williams. That's more interesting to me than any QB in this class. The only QB in this class who I really like right now is CJ Stroud. And we're not going to get him. So I don't see how it works. Maybe you get Penix in the third or fourth, but that's not something I would think has a high probability of working out. Ghost, do you think our home field advantage is gone? No, it can never be gone. It's tangible. Just sometimes you don't utilize it very well. Seahawks Country 12, how much are we paying Geno Smith? I think he's on like a 1 year, $7 million deal. Thomas, that's the thing. Caleb Williams is probably going to be the number one overall pick. You're going to have to work very hard to have a chance at him. The Seattle Seahawks have turned the ball over at least once in every game they played this year. They're the only team in the league to have done that. Huh. That's an interesting way of looking at things because it feels like we've been pretty good with the turnovers, but that would argue otherwise. AC and thoughts on DK's game? I mean, we were feeding him the ball a lot, and he generally did his job. I don't like technically that last play will be considered a drop, but I, I mean, if that is a drop, it's not one I'm going to be terribly mad at him for. Probably should have been upheld. Yeah. Do you guys remember in the old days when review challenges had a 90-second timer? Like you could look at it for 90 seconds and then the feed would cut off. I don't know when they got rid of that, but that must have been a good 10 minutes, man. I was getting annoyed just because it completely froze the game. That long review probably also had a negative effect on the adrenaline in the game. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Daryl Taylor. We're asking him to just do one job, go to the quarterback, and he's not doing it. So my opinion of Daryl Taylor has never been lower than it is right now, I have to say. It doesn't seem like he can play the run, he can't play the pass. Like another bust of a draft pick from that era, I guess. Now, I mean, we're used to it, but at this point, best case scenario, he becomes like a reserve player. I can't imagine him being a good NFL starter for a good defense unless the whole rest of the defense is just completely loaded. Yeah, you're probably going to have a hard time getting Caleb Williams. So, look, knowing that we have Pete Carroll at quarterback, knowing how, he's probably looking at things, Geno's going to probably be your guy for a couple years. That's what I expect. I think Geno's going to end up being the quarterback next year and probably the year after. At that point, maybe something different happens, but I think you're on the Geno train for at least 2 years here. Yeah, Bruce Irvin is playing better than Daryl Taylor, and I don't think it's close. You think we can sneak away with Anthony Richardson? I don't know how the NFL is going to view him because he's not good yet, but the talent is incredible. He's basically like a better version of Lamar Jackson. So I don't know. I mean, the dude's not a good player right now, that's for sure. He's going to need a year or two. Ugh. No, team looked exactly like the team from week 3 to week 5, week 2 to week 5, week 3 to week 5, where every game is just like a shootout. First to 40 wins, first to 50 wins sometimes. Yeah, I did see that Phoenix resurrected. So I saw more two-man fronts tonight, which really frustrates me because we have a lot of evidence that doesn't work very well, and we keep going back to it in these neutral down situations. I don't understand it. It seems like a simple thing to dump, and it's very logical why you would dump it. It takes away your run D. Will there be a dope late round one defensive tackle we can take, sign Payne, then draft DE, then touchdown, then LB? I'm sure there is. There's going to be some late first round defensive tackle you can take. There always is. There are a few names that I have on my radar there. First and second round go all defense except to draft a center. I kind of agree. I can't think of anything else on the offense we need. Hopefully Gabe Jackson retires and moves to Florida in the offseason because it's only going to get worse for him. Big return for Green Bay. Yeah, if Neal is injured long term, this season's in trouble. Like Ryan Neal is a huge deal to this defense. Do you think Diggs' poor tackling and lack of interceptions is because he is playing strong safety instead of free safety, his natural position, because he is playing Adams' spot? I don't believe that's true. I'm pretty sure Quandre Diggs is still the last line of defense on most plays. Maybe he's coming up a little bit more, but that was going to happen with or without Jamal being on the field because we were trying to do a more exotic defense this year. What do you think is going to happen at the quarterback situation? I think we re-sign Geno. Yeah, Neal is more of our strong safety than Diggs, but Diggs is doing a little more around the line of scrimmage this year, but not that much. Like I don't think he's been blitzed, but maybe once the whole year. I don't know if that's true, Brandon. Remember, you got Caleb Williams, you got Quinn Ewers, you've got DJU, you've got May from NC. There's probably going to be some other guys too. Really, Corey? We have the third most missed tackles in the league. I didn't know that. Makes sense, I guess, with how bad the defense has been overall. Yeah, I think Drew and Pete like each other. I think Pete really likes Drew and hopes that he can eventually get the best out of him. I mean, you traded for him. You must like something about him. Ghost, Kobe Bryant needs to play outside. Pete and Clint set him up for failure. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But we don't really have a nickel corner right now. We don't have a slot corner, so we just kind of got to roll with it. Scott, Adams ever going to play a complete season for us? You got to bet against it, right? Like, it's very unlikely. But while he's under contract, you got to keep doing everything you can to try to get him out there because he is destructive when he gets out there. How long do you think we signed Geno for? 3 years. Easy out after two. I think he's going to be our quarterback next year and the year after, and then probably do something different at that point. That would be my guess. What's up with Trey Brown? He played today. Trey Brown did play today. He just didn't play a ton. It was his first game back. It's not like not having Trey Brown was the problem, I don't think. Remember, Trey Brown is an outside cornerback too. He's smaller than these other outside corners, but he is an outside corner. That's what he played in college. That's what his skill set lends itself best to. I love Geno, but do you think he can be that QB to lead us to a Super Bowl? I mean, if Jimmy Garoppolo can do it, yeah, absolutely. 100%. Now, it's not going to be easy. I would rather try to go to the Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes or Justin Herbert, but I don't think that I mean, Geno's playing well enough to where I think he can definitely get to a Super Bowl. It's not going to be as easy as it would be if you had Mahomes, but there's only one Pat Mahomes. Did you see that muffed kick return near the end? Yeah, Thomas. That would have been a great bailout. Basically, hand us the win for free. I really, really wanted that bailout. That would have been one heck of a bailout, but we didn't deserve it in fairness. This defense can yeah. This defense is and the thing that really annoys me is that I bought into it. I really thought this defense had fixed things, and now they've gone back to what they were doing completely before. Jeff Lowe, what did they change that impacted our run defense so badly? I mean, I'm just seeing these two-man fronts. I'm seeing some bad tackling, but not a critical amount. I really think a lot of it is the two-man fronts, but part of it is also these defensive linemen are just not very good. We signed a 350-pound nose tackle in Monet. We gave him some decent money, and he doesn't seem like he does anything. So if you was Pete, what would you do for the rest of the year? I mean, I would scrap trying to play run defense from a two-man front. I'm to plan for a complete overhaul of our D line and linebackers. Keep Mafe and Barton, and everyone else must go. I don't know why you'd keep Barton. He's a free agent. He's going to be gone probably anyway. I don't think you keep Barton. Thoughts on the overturned fumble? It wasn't overturned. It wasn't reviewable because they called him down by forward progress, which was a mistake. They shouldn't have done it. They screwed us, but there's nothing they can do at that point. They can't review it. Phoenix Resurrected, should we change the 3-4 system? I don't know. I don't think that's going to make anything better. I think these players are just not very good. I don't think they would be effective from any defensive. I don't know. I knew our defensive line wasn't great, but it's starting to show me it might be really bad. Some of the players are going to fit better in a 4-3, but some of them won't, like Shelby Harris. Shelby Harris has played in a 3-4 his whole career, I believe. What does he do in a 4-3? If this keeps up, Pass Rush Friday is going to be like 30 seconds every week. I don't know what it's going to be this week. It's going to be a little longer than the Bucks, but probably not much better. I think we got to Carr maybe 5 times on the game, and a couple of those times were coverage pressures. I know. And the thing is, honestly, as much as Taylor was having problems earlier in the year, he was looking really good as a pass rusher. I think the first game he had like 4 pressures. Now he just looks like he's waddling around out there. He does. It looks like we. I don't know. I'm really disappointed. That's going to be one of my misses because I believe the offseason hype on Taylor, and there's nothing. There's nothing there. What do we fix first, our run blocking or pass rush? I don't think you can really fix either right now, but you got to fix both in the offseason because they're both so bad. And I really think the run blocking issue is easily fixed. Our tackles are going to get an extra year of experience. Honestly, while you're at it, Damian Lewis is going to get another year experience at left guard. And you swap out Austin Blythe for someone who can actually run block and things are going to be okay. But you're not going to do that right now. You got to take the L right now and try to fix it in the offseason. And Kenneth Walker was playing bad. I don't think Kenneth Walker was playing bad. I just think he had nothing to work with. I don't get the sense he was like the one at fault here. I think Ken Walker's doing what he can. Okay. I'm interested to see what PFF says, but I have a feeling they're going to kill Austin Blythe. And obviously Blythe is, doing some things quite well, but he's so bad in that area right now. It's hard to justify it no matter what. Give no praise or hope for Brooks, Monet, Ford, Jefferson, Woods, Taylor, or Robinson. They all suck. I said from day one. Puna's Puna would be good in a 4-3, I think. Al Woods is I think he's just old and can't play very much anymore. He's been good. But yeah, I'm pretty down on Taylor. I don't think there's any other way to be. No problem, Daniel. I'm having an okay day. Life goes on. Thoughts on re-signing Blythe for backup money and drafting a center in the second? I'm a fan of John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. I like him a lot too. Yeah, BK. I don't know if Blythe would be willing to re-sign for backup money, but I wouldn't mind having Blythe as a backup in principle. Ghost, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Blythe is undersized and weak for a center. Yeah, that I mean he's not a terrible center, but you give up a lot in the run game, and that's fine. I'm okay making that trade, but hopefully you're able to find a center that can actually do both, and there are going to be opportunities to do so this offseason. I'd rather have Blythe than somebody who can't pass protect like Joey Hunt. And well, Joey Hunt couldn't really do much of anything. Neither can Kyle Fuller. But this is why I say there's an opportunity to upgrade from Blythe in the offseason. Don't forget to take it. Is the Raiders O-line really that good? No, they're not. They're a mediocre offensive line. They are mediocre. That's what makes this so bad. Taylor, there are no centers. Centers and guards pretty much never go in the top 10, my guy. That does not happen. In fact, I looked it up. The last time a center went in the top 10 of the draft, it was like 1957. Guard happens occasionally, but it would be a left guard, not a right guard. Right guards grow on trees. At this point, unless we can get Anthony Richardson in the second round, I'd rather run with Geno/Lock and put Spencer Rattler in the 6th round on our practice squad for a year or two. Yeah, I'm not angry about the idea of Penix to Seattle in the 4th, but we're really running out of desirable outcomes here. I think Quentin Nelson was the last one to go top 10. Did he go top 10? I don't remember. Did he went sixth over? Okay, I'm trying to remember now. Did he go sixth? Yeah, I think it was. Wow. Okay, he did go pretty high. But it's almost never going to be a right guard. It's almost always going to be a left guard because left guards are more valuable and harder to find. Eagles starting to put this game away. Who's the highest round offensive line pick this year? It's probably Skoronowski. Peter Skoronowski. Skoronowski. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but it's something like that. Man, usually my attendance is like double this. Nobody wants to talk about these Raiders. This Raiders game. I even saw like as the game was winding down, like the Hawks Nest viewership was crashing because nobody wanted to talk about such an embarrassing game. Marcus Overly, thank you for the $5 super chat. Will you do a video on our draft needs and players you would target with each pick? I would trade both our first round picks for draft capital in 24 and 25. Um, I'll definitely do a video on draft needs and definitely players we target. That's something I started a few weeks ago. I just need to make the next video on. I've been busy lately. Wasn't able to make as many videos as I usually do. Thank you, Marcus, for the donation. Offense being really good and defense being really bad is something none of us saw coming this year. I know. I know. And the thing that frustrates me is the defense had me fooled. I thought they fixed it. I really thought they found something, but to a certain extent they kind of abandoned it for some reason, and to another extent it's not working the way it used to. Thank you, Daniel. Unfortunately, the guard talent in this draft is pretty mediocre. I like the left guard on Oregon, I think Bass. I like the Alabama left guard, Cohen. There are a few, not a ton. I think that's touchdown Philly. Why would this be Lockett's last year in Seattle? He's having one of his better years. Oh, nice, Marcus. Yeah, it lets you super chat now. Awesome. I didn't even think about that. Tight. Do you think Clint Hurd is any part of the defense problem, or is it just lack of talent and depth? I guess I would feel like it's mostly a lack of talent, but whoever's behind these two-man fronts, I don't understand that. Like, we keep getting run all over every time we try to do that nonsense. Oh yeah, Van Pran too. Yeah, Van Pran was another guy I was actually scouting a little bit this year. That was a center I like. Got destroyed at the point of attack both ways. Yeah, this game was really lost in the trenches. It really was. Thoughts on Caleb Williams from USC? He's phenomenal. He is phenomenal. But not really something we can talk about right now because he's not going to be in this draft. Should the Hawks have gone after Sue? I don't think Sue would have made this that much better. He's one guy, and the whole defensive line is just not very good. I don't think that would have helped. Much as I hate losing, this is for the best. We'll sign Geno cheaper. Not necessarily, dude. That's not really how it works. It's not like Geno has a counter in his bedroom that ticks down every time he makes a mistake or loses a game. I don't necessarily believe that that's the case. Do we need a new D-line coach? I don't know. I think most of the defensive linemen just aren't good. But again, even if that's the case, That's on Pete and John. They brought these players in. These are not like a bunch of sixth round rookies we have here. These are veterans. These are guys we signed, extended. Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point that Austin brings up there. People have started to say, oh, we're not rebuilding. We're actually not rebuilding because look, we're winning, and it's like it's still a rebuild. It's just going better and quicker than we expected. I'm pretty sure it's still a rebuild. It- like you don't move on from all the stuff you moved on from without considering it a rebuild on some level. Why isn't JJ Arcega-Whiteside playing? He's not on the team anymore. Treadwell got activated for this game, but I don't think he played. Jeff Lowe's season is already exceeding expectations. I mean, there is something to be said for establishing a super high ex for establishing high expectations and then not bringing them all the way home. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't understand why Seahawks fans are so excited about Jalen Carter. Like, I mean, I like Jalen Carter a lot. He's awesome, but at this point, Denver is probably picking high enough for you to get Will Anderson. Why not reach for the stars? Or do people think that Jalen Carter's better than Will Anderson? I would be surprised by that. Yeah, Austin, it's kind of a win-win, but it's annoying that we won all those games and looked so much better and things were going in the right direction. 4-game win streak and now this. Thoughts on us making the playoffs? The defense plays like this, you're not going to beat anybody. But that doesn't mean you don't try to go to the playoffs necessarily, right? Like you're still striving for it. Is the game week 12 game results analysis coming out soon? I mean, I already uploaded the post game video a couple hours ago, Daniel. Who do you think we target in free agency? Does Deron Payne and Will Anderson fix this? Well, the problem is Will Anderson is young and raw, so he might not play a lot as a rookie. So you are going to need to find ways to fix it without depending on a raw rookie like a Will Anderson. Just remember the Commanders and Giants play each other twice, so one of those teams will get knocked out. I think the Giants are going to free fall. So honestly, I think we make the playoffs regardless, even if we kind of fade here and struggle, even if the defense doesn't really improve that much, just because things have broken in a positive way for us. But with the way this defense is now playing, I'm starting to think that month might have been kind of an aberration, and they're kind of back to an area where they need to prove something. No, I missed that one. I missed the Commanders thing. Thoughts on Sauce getting all the attention and hype he's been getting the entire season? I mean, he's really good. He gets away with holding on every single play. So, I know Woolen don't. He sure don't. Is there any center in free agency? It's not great, Austin, in free agency. It's not great. Having to choose between Anderson or Carter is a great problem to have. Oh, I agree. I like Carter. I'm just surprised Seahawks fans aren't buzzing about Will Anderson because I think it is now likely that you're going to pick high enough to have a chance at Will Anderson. I don't think Denver wins again this year. The only real chance they have at winning a game this year is going to be against the Rams. Actually, offensive guard is great for 2023. OGs in the later round are good targets. Well, I don't think Patterson's going to be a later round. He's probably a second round guy, and I think Cohen might be too. What do we do with Puna Ford? He's a free agent at the end of the year. You just let him go. You don't need him no more. I mean, I know he had a sack today, but overall, still, he's just not applying the kind of pressure you need. I 100% want Will Anderson. Anyone who has doubts, go look at Von Miller college tape. They are identical. He is not a Khalil Mack type, but he is a Von Miller type. That's not a good thing to be saying around Seahawks fans right now, though, because the Von Miller Darrell Taylor comp was the thing that was flying around the last year plus, and that's not going very well. But I agree. I mean, I agree with your general sentiment of I think Will Anderson's going to be great. In all honesty, Broncos to me look like a team that might have given up what a toothless performance against the Panthers. I think they did give up. That was the one of the worst teams they played this year. And that's the game you get blown out in. Literally, Denver's offense didn't deserve any points today. Denver's offense did not deserve any points. 3 points were scored on a short field because of a fumble on the special teams, and the touchdown was garbage time. Yeah, I saw that ghost. Is there any brutal defensive tackle in this draft? Yeah, Jalen Carter. Well, Marcus, you know that Pete's not thinking about Archie Manning. Pete is probably thinking I'm going to be retired by the time Archie Manning goes to the NFL. I mean, Archie Manning is 3, 4 years away or something. Pete's not thinking about him at all. There's no way he's going to be thinking like that. That's like something that I would do when I play Madden because I'm a psychopath. I would do that in Madden, but I don't think Pete's going to do that in real life. What happened to Russ? He lost his physical attributes, and now his brain is the only thing that can carry him, and his brain and his football IQ is low. I think we have a chance to get the second overall pick. I do too. In fact, the only reason why the Bears are picking ahead of the Broncos is because they've played one more game because they haven't had their bye week yet. Their strength of schedule is actually very good. So Denver jumps them as soon as the Bears get their bye week if the Broncos keep losing. So basically, if the Broncos lose to the Rams, I think we're in the clear for the number 2 pick. Yeah, Gervon Dexter's nice. I like that dude. You might be able to get him late first, early second. Agree, Brendan Wilson is lost and gone. I wouldn't doubt if the Broncos try to trade him. Nobody would trade for him, though. Who would trade for him? Like, I think you could make a very compelling argument that Wilson's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. Based off how he's playing right now, he's the worst quarterback. Zach Wilson, he was better than, but now Zach Wilson is benched. Where do you think 6 and 11 would be for draft order? That would be like around 9 or 10, but they're not getting 3 more wins. The only way they get 3 more wins is if they fire Hackett and then Kubi and then Dom Capers comes in and lights a fire. Chances that Texans sneak in some wins, they're really bad. I don't think anything's going to get between them and the number 1 pick. They've mastered the art of the semi-competitive loss. They hang around for a minute or two, they make it interesting, and then they lose. Yeah, I saw that pretentious Cameron. Pretty good. All right, guys. I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Just shouldn't be more than I'll be back well before the end of the third quarter, I think. 145 people in here, so I'm going to say it one more time before we end, before I go on break. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. And we're very close to a membership goal, 4 members away. So if you haven't become a member yet, now's a great time to do so. We only have a few more days left in the month. And if we could get to the membership goal, that would obviously be cool. We also have super chat goals and tip goals. If you want to tip, do exclamation point tip in the chat or click the link in the description. Those are the best ways to support the channel. Green Bay kicks a field goal. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Alrighty then. Be here. If this were 2021 Will Anderson, he'd go ahead of Carter, no doubt. Now I'm not sure. They seem equivalent to me. I don't know. The edge rushers are worth so much more than almost anything else. And we clearly need it just as badly as we need anything else. Did you see the edge rush lately? Non existent. It's hard to completely write off our team after having a 4 game stretch of dominance. Oh, you definitely shouldn't write them off, but this should be taken seriously. Like, this was not a good offense coming in here today, and they put it on you. Max Hayek, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the sub. I'll talk about it more tomorrow, Jack. But the shame of it all, pretty much every other game today went the way we wanted it to go. It was a great day of football, and then the Seahawks did that. And it looks like Green Bay is going to lose, which is also fortuitous. The silver lining is that the only team we have to worry about is the Commanders. Yeah, that is the case. Like, if you really look at it, there are 8 teams in the NFC that are really going to have a chance at a playoff spot. 8. And there are 7 spots. You look at the Giants' remaining schedule, they look like a team that's really going to get left out. The Commanders could too. Like, it would be kind of hard for us to mess this up. What do you mean the Frank Clark thing? What are you talking about, Seahawks fan 900? But Nolan, I like Nolan Smith a lot too, Marcus. I like Nolan Smith a lot. And I mean that isn't actually a good point, though, that people I think lose track of. Will Anderson can absolutely be a bust. Right now he is playing purely on athletic ability. He has no idea what he's doing out there. I think the Falcons are kind of toast. Yeah, I agree, David. Tomorrow's the big day. I'm going to do a video probably on the Broncos situation. Hopefully, I don't end up posting it. Like, I'm going to record it late tonight, probably, and then post it in the morning. Hopefully, Hackett doesn't get fired between now and then, because obviously that would be a big deal. Chances versus Rams next week? I think we'll be okay. That Rams offense, like, they're actually worse than these offenses that kill us, I think. Like, as much as the Lions with all those injuries should have been a joke offense, like, that Rams offense can't really do anything. So I'm going to feel pretty good about my chances. Like, there is nothing going on that Rams offense, which makes me scared for that Denver game, but it's in LA and monumental coaching advantage with McVay versus Hackett. Stafford might be out for the rest of the year, apparently. Sounds like Stafford's out for the year. First down, Philly. What are the odds the Rams run crazy on us? If they do, then everybody needs to take back all the positive Pete Carroll stuff, I guess, because that would be the final straw of you maybe having one of the worst defenses in NFL history. Yeah, Allen Robinson's out for the year. Cooper Cup's probably out for the year. Stafford's out for the year. Daryl Henderson's been cut. But hey, Apparently, the Pete Carroll Seahawks have always kind of sucked coming off the bye week. Maybe there's something there. Maybe it's not just random luck anymore. Maybe there's actually something there to ascribe to it. Look, even if we do make the playoffs and then lose, there is something to be said for getting Geno a playoff game. He's never played in the playoffs before. There is something to be said for getting guys like Cross and Lucas and Walker a playoff game, and Woolen and Kobe. Like, don't completely discount that. Maybe we draft defensive end, linebacker, or center. I'm sure we will in some order at some point. Even if you do ascribe to the theory that Barton is playing a lot better, he's still a free agent. Yeah, Nwosu's good. Mafe will probably be good, but you need more. That's not enough. I feel so bad for Aaron Rodgers right now. Why? It wasn't that bad, was it? Did he actually get seriously hurt? I thought it was just like an owl thing. Wow. The result of this game might affect the pick. Let me think here. Oh, I think it doesn't. Neither of these teams played the Rams or the Broncos. Rodgers just got all that money. I don't think he's walking away from it. I mean, I do think that overturning that catch by Metcalf was weak, but I get it. But my problem is they took 10 minutes to look at it to come to that conclusion, which they shouldn't be allowed to stop the game for that long. If it takes you 10 minutes to figure out that it's not a catch, then you're holding up the game way too long to figure that out. Yeah, I don't know what to think about Brooks right now. I don't think he's a terrible player, but he is so limited. Green Bay plays the Rams in December. Okay. So that means if Green Bay loses. Okay, that's not going to help us. Okay. Okay, so that's actually not good because Green Bay looks like they're going to lose, but very minor consideration in fairness. Yeah, that's true. That's a valid consideration, but at the same time, the offense needs to be held accountable for calling a run play. Like we ran the ball. We couldn't run the ball the whole game. We're just going to run the K9 up the middle. I got what are they called? English cream retriever. English cream golden retriever. Like I know it sucks, but you can't run behind Austin Blythe most of the time. He's just not good at run blocking. Again, I'm okay with that. He's doing other things well enough to make it where I can live with him for a year, but you got to adjust the way you play football accordingly. On that last play, Max Crosby ran around Lucas. Lucas barely touched him, man. That was really annoying. I mean, that's the biggest play of the game, and you leave your rookie tackle one-on-one against a likely all-pro. It's just, I mean, Pete lost offseason talked a lot about being arrogant in the past and trying to undo those mistakes and trying to be less arrogant and be more open-minded. When I think arrogance, I mean we've done a lot of things successfully on that regard, but it's like still a little arrogant with thinking that we can just handle their team's best player one on one. At least we didn't do that with Devontae. Yeah, I saw that, Theron. It's like he wasn't getting the ball out of his hands fast today. Who are you talking about, EBC? Geno? Not. I don't think Geno really did that much wrong today. Maybe that low throw to Lockett near the end of the fourth quarter hurts, but I don't know. I think he did a fairly good job getting the ball out of his hands quickly on most plays. Yeah, hopefully you're right, you're tripping shorty. I would hate for this win to be the difference between us making the playoffs and being the best team to not make the playoffs, being the eighth team. If that happens, that would suck. I mean, yeah, that's the thing though. The the only reason why we're upset right now is because we felt so good about the way things were going 3 weeks ago. And I'm trying to keep that in perspective, but it still sucks, man. Until today, the Raiders had only beaten maybe the two worst teams in the league, Houston and Denver. Herbicide, I've said it a million times. I'm pretty sure it was Blythe more than anybody. Maybe a little Jackson too. Well, Disley had a big drop. Disley had a big drop in this game. So I can't totally feel terrible for him not getting targeted for a lot of the rest of the game because that was a big drop. He catches that pass. Who knows what happens on that drive? Eagles probably about to put this game away. Oh, yeah, and quick note to everybody. Shortly after this stream, I'm probably going to go live on Twitch. I don't know exactly when, maybe sometime around like 9 o'clock. And we're going to start a new game tonight. It's called Judgment. So if you want to watch me stream Judgment for probably a couple hours at least, head on over to my Twitch and follow me. And you'll see me go live after the stream tonight. I think I need something to take my mind off the annoyance of that game. And some of these things, like, I go after Carroll all the time, but some of these things are not even close to what he wants to do, right? He wants to stop the run. He wants to protect the ball, and right now we're not doing those things. Which school does Mims play for again, Marcus? Do you believe in certain mess ups affecting final outcomes of games? I feel like some teams will make the game close no matter what. Yeah, there is something to be said for teams that are always going to make the game close. Denver was like that before this week, just because they couldn't score, so they could never put a team away, but their defense was playing really well. Oklahoma, okay. I'm gonna have to look at him a little bit more. I remember looking at Denzel Mims a few years ago. Kind of interesting. More so at the time. Aaron Rodgers is out of uniform. Wow, that's a fat one. Would you prefer Carter or Anderson? Anderson. I believe Anderson's going to be the better player. I believe that Anderson has higher potential, and I believe you can find really intriguing defensive linemen later in the draft. And also, before today, there was an argument to be made that we didn't need an edge that bad, but we do. Our edges, other than Nwosu, and he's been invisible the last two games, and in the future, Mafe, not it. Like Taylor, unfortunately, there's not much there, I'm afraid. This is year three. I feel like we should be seen a little more by now. Half of me wants to make playoffs, and then the other half is lose out. Uh, Losing out's not even going to do you that good at this point. We've already won too many games, so I would get completely off that train. I was never on that train to begin with, but if you're thinking about it, get off of it. It's not the end of the world. We're getting probably the number two pick. Is there a shot for a top three pick if the Broncos beat the Rams? At that point, it's hard, right? Because the Rams are probably going to be a top three team. And if you hand them an L, how many opportunities are they going to have to win a game the rest of the year? Mm-mm-mm. Ah, boy. Wilson does suck against the Rams. Okay. That has nothing to do with us anymore. Oh, you're saying for the Broncos. No, I think the Rams will beat them. I'm just saying that that's the only game they have left that is a realistic possibility. How did Rodgers get hurt? I should start doing some mock draft stuff, shouldn't I? I should start doing some mock draft sims. Just started early this year. We're 11 games into the year. If this game goes into OT, I'm going to be annoyed. Rodgers might not show up if he's seriously injured. Rodgers got hurt on a sack in the third. Okay, I haven't seen it yet. They haven't shown. I haven't looked at the TV when they were showing it yet. Third down for Green Bay. Not that it really matters anymore. They're not scoring 2 touchdowns with Jordan Love. But hey, life is still good. Diggs finally made some plays on the ball. Not that he had a perfect game, but he was definitely a net positive. Geno still played a great game, I think. I got nothing bad to say about Geno, really. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. DK played a really nice game, I thought. Lockett did his thing. Fant made some nice plays in the passing game. Like, we're still ahead of where I thought we would be, but this was a tough one, man, because even with all the crap, we had 2 golden opportunities to just sneak out the win. And, we'd all be sitting here being like, well, that was ugly. We need to fix some things. Our defense has problems. And no, can't do it. As an Ohio fan and a Seahawks fan, it hurt to see the run defense. Yeah, today, honestly, the numbers that Vegas put up on us was like a college game. It's like one of these Big 12 college games. And Christian Watson just beat me in fantasy. If I wasn't already beat, I'm 100% beat now. So, yeah, not cool. I don't know, Larry Murphy. I do suspect on some level our defensive line is just not very good, but that doesn't fully explain why they keep getting put in such bad situations like the 2-man fronts. Although I should say this, we were in a 3-man front on the 86-yard touchdown by Josh Jacobs, so it's not just that. There's more going on. Watson's touchdown was from like midfield. It was a big play. Yeah, that's another great point. Josh Jacobs was playing injured, and he still roasted us. He would have had 800 yards if he was healthy. I don't know, Daniel. I didn't want to blitz the Raiders that much. I felt like that would be something they could beat. But what we did sure didn't work. But I don't know if blitzing would have worked either. Hard to know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the Taylor emoji out at this point because he's done nothing to earn it. I'm gonna have to scrub the Taylor emoji because what a disappointment, right? I'm gonna have to do I guess I guess we could do Woolen. We could do Nwosu. Maybe not a great time for it, but overall, he's still playing really well. It's really weird because Taylor last year really looked good, and then he's just fallen off a cliff. Yeah, I'm, oh, okay, we do have Woolen. Okay, I can probably do like Nwosu, Marshawn. Everybody would like the Marshawn. We're still on Thanksgiving break. I mean, I think there is something to be said for coming off the bye week. I'm not a big fan of Tyreek Smith, Barry. Not a big Tyreek Smith fan. I think he'll be okay depth, but I'm not expecting him to be like a high end starter or anything. It was such a weird game from Diggs because usually he's never like that. On the one hand, he's got the two picks. On the other hand, he makes several really big mistakes. Watched the game with my grandpa at hospital to enjoy watching Hawks win, but we lost and he went into a coma. That's not good. Sorry to hear that, my man. With the second first round pick, would you like Trenton Simpson? I like Trenton Simpson. I would be okay with that. Yeah, at this point, I don't know what I can conclude other than the defensive performance over that month where we were really good was an aberration to a certain extent because today it wasn't just kind of bad like the Bucks game, it was abominable. The good news is I guess Geno can still carry us to some wins, right? Geno can still carry us a little bit. Hopefully we draft a pass rusher, huh? This game may have been a little different if we could get some pressure going. Oh, I think that was the biggest problem. Out of all the other things to talk about, I think the fact that we can't get a pass rush, and I'll continue to say it. These are guys that we liked. These are guys we invested in. Look at Daryl Taylor. We used a second round pick and a third round pick to bring him in. You know, Nwosu was a free agency signing. Mafe, second round pick. Now, Bruce Irvin is one of those guys who you look at and go, he's just out there killing time. But that's the thing. Bruce Irvin looks better than any of them. You picked up Bruce Irvin off the couch, and he looks like your best edge player. 1 second. Okay, the actual subscription number is actually 53, so we're 47 away. Oh, that's not true, 509. We don't need to win out to make the playoffs. Not at all. I'd like to win out, but we definitely don't need to. I wasn't paying much attention to Mafe today. Did he do anything? Not really, David. No. I mean, he's the guy who I'm not really going to be that upset at about this stuff because he's a raw rookie. Like, he should not be the guy who's carrying your defense to respectability. But I didn't notice him that much, no. I think we're I think we're a 10-win team still. Dacian. Man, nobody wants to talk about the Seahawks embarrassing L already down to below 100 viewers. I know y'all show up when we win, so I know why you guys ain't showing up. Is the honeymoon really over? Pete has a lot of explaining to do at press tomorrow. I mean, let me think here. I don't think Pete's in trouble. Obviously, a lot of the praise that we've been giving him lately is kind of getting pulled away, but it's important to remember we're still rebuilding and we're still ahead of schedule and things are still overall looking very good. So I can't trip that much about it. If you can get CJ Stroud, get CJ Stroud, but if you can't, then BPA it more or less. Well, not BPA, but maybe BPA on defense would be fine. BPA it. But I honestly believe at this point, I honestly think, and we'll see. Sometimes teams like band together and win a bunch of meaningless games at the end of a lost year. I believe we're getting the number 2 pick from Denver. That's where I think we're going right now. Okay, about 4 minutes left in this game, and Philly's looking like they're not giving it back. I'm gonna end the stream whenever the Sunday night game ends, and I'll take care of some things around here. I think I'm gonna jump over to Twitch tonight to try some Judgment. Yeah, Charisma. I hear you. Cam J, do you see Young falling to the second and us drafting him or not? He's not. He's not falling to the second. Bryce Young's probably not out of the top five. Somebody's gonna like Bryce Young enough to take him top five. I think. I still think the Rams can't even compete with Denver. Everybody can compete with Denver. They can't score. I would take Penix over Stroud. Well, I maybe would rather spend a fourth round pick on Penix than a number one overall pick on Stroud. Maybe I agree with that. But, Penix has a good arm. He doesn't have an amazing arm. I will say that. I will admit that about him. There are better arms out there. I think his arm is good enough. Just got here. Did you talk about the refs yet? A little bit, but I don't think it's a huge part of the story here. Even if the refs had made different calls and we'd won that game, our defense is still really, really bad right now. Well, if we want any chance of beating the 49ers, we got to fix this run defense because they will run all over us. They will have 800 yards rushing in one game somehow. If we do not fix this run defense, the Niners are never going to have to ask Jimmy G to do anything, and the game is going to be over. It's 4th and 3 for the Eagles, and they're going for it. Nope, they're faking it. Okay. So Green Bay's going to get a chance, looks like. I think we still make the playoffs, Ryan, honestly. Just because there are really only 8 teams in the playoff race in the NFC that are solidly there, and one of them is New York, and I think New York's going to fade. The Broncos are kind of a whole team of IR, too. They've got no running backs. They've got no receivers except for Sutton. Their whole offensive line is injured. Wilson's playing hurt. I think Randy Gregory might still be out. Like, it is a whole team of IR just as much as the Rams are. Yeah, Rodney, I didn't agree with it, but I understand why they did that. I see it. I understand it, but the fact that it took that long, like, there's no way that was indisputable. There's no way that was indisputable. Eagles kicking a 54-yard field goal to ice it. I think he's got it. Yeah, he banged it through. Thoughts on not going forward on 4th and 5 in OT? I mean, Pete's never going to take that chance. And in his mind, he was probably thinking, hey, my defense just got one stop. I'm going to play this straight and hope they make another stop. And honestly, the way our offense was playing, I don't know how I feel about 4th and 5. Like, that can go either way for me. We were not doing a good job on third downs in that game. And with our complete unwillingness to double team Crosby, 4th and 5 could have been a disaster. But I feel Geno is not long time solution despite good play next year. We need to look for QB. I mean, there are only a handful of quarterbacks in the league playing better than Geno. So I don't see how you get off that. I think Washington still has 2 games against New York, a game against Dallas, and a game against Philly. And New York has 2 games against Philly, 2 games against Washington. For us to miss the playoffs, we'd actually have to kind of thread the needle. I'm not even going to lie. Packers' big kick return up to the 40, up close to the 50. Green Bay's not dead yet, but they are on life support. Would you trade down from 2 overall to Houston for the 10-32nd Houston 2024 first? That's not bad, Barry. I would probably do that. But man, you're you're really missing out on the top tier guys in this draft, I think, if you do that though. So you have to be willing to accept that. Oh, the Commanders have played the Eagles twice already. Okay, never mind. Our first 5 picks should be spent on defense and center. Probably. Probably. At least that's a path I would definitely be completely comfortable with. No, Larry Murphy, I didn't see this. What are you guys talking about? What happened to McVay? I think Russ will never. I think Russ is done, but it's not. It's not because of anything other than I think he's physically breaking down now. Even if he puts in the work this offseason to become a smarter player, like not be this low IQ player who makes so many bad decisions. Like physically, I think he's starting to break down. I think it's too late. I think the time for Wilson to put in the work needed to become a great quarterback when he's 40 has already passed. But it's all in his. It is. He can become at least a good quarterback again whenever his body allows him to. There's nothing stopping him from doing that. I just feel like he's not going to be able to do enough. Not necessarily Papagar. Maybe the Giants are the team we want to fall off a cliff. We remember we beat the Giants. We have the tiebreaker. So if we end up in a tie with the Giants for a playoff spot, we get it. Unless there's a three-way tie, which is unlikely at this point because I'm pretty sure Atlanta's just going to roll over now. They had their chance to really get into it, and I think it's over. Oh, we already have pulled off highway robbery. Think about this, guys. If we had kept Wilson this year and he played like this or anywhere close to like this, what do you think happens? What do you think happens? We give him away. There's no universe where he goes and plays like this for us or even plays a little bit better and then we keep him. No, at that point we are 100% done. We are giving him away just to get him off this team. So even if Wilson bounces back after this year, we can't say that matters. We can't say that means anything. All it means is that we probably would have dumped him cheap had we kept him one more year, and then we would have gotten very little in return for a guy who would eventually bounce back. But he would not have had that chance to bounce back with us if we had kept him for year 11. Green Bay making this ending kind of interesting. Yeah, but that also means that Atlanta can't really get in as a wild card. They are only really able to get in as a division winner. Unless you're saying that maybe makes them play hard and not roll over on the season. I just think they're bad. I think the Broncos would have to pay somebody to take Wilson. He might be the most unvaluable player in the league. He's got this monster contract you can't get out of. He's genuinely one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league right now. Like, how many starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now are worse than Wilson? Can you even name like three? Zach Wilson was worse, but he's not the starter now. Incomplete in the end zone. They love Christian Watson. Remember, the Seahawks actually took a look at him in the draft, and I ended up really liking him. I just didn't want a receiver that much. Would you ever do a rage video? Probably not, drop top. I feel like the people who do that successfully are people who genuinely feel that rage. And if I did it, it would be fake and everybody would be able to tell. People would be like, oh, this guy's acting. This guy's not that mad. Like, that was the thing about EDP. He was actually that mad when he made those videos. He was actually furious. If it were me, be it would just be like those greatest freak out ever videos, except probably worse acted because those videos are actually pretty well acted. People need to stay the course regardless of what happens. This was a great season for us. Our rookies are awesome. Geno is a quality quarterback. We can find defensive tackles, interior offensive linemen in an off season, no problem. I don't think it's okay for the defense to be this bad. You have so many good defensive coaches on your staff. You do have some guys you paid to play on your defense. I don't think that we can just blow off the defense being this bad. But for the most part, you are right. You are right. Packers got the field goal. Game not completely over yet. Byron D, I suspect that's the way we're going, yeah. Yeah, that's true, Bo. That's an important thing to keep in mind. Before the year, I predicted we would win 6 or 7 games. We're already at 6. We need a team friendly deal next year from Geno. Year after that, we can dump money on him. Well, you can give him big money and then make that first year just a low cap hit. It's not like Geno cares. It doesn't affect his bottom line, really. Onside kick. Wow, that was actually wasn't bad, but Philly gets it, and that's GG. Well, Green Bay can get the ball back, but it's not good. Yeah, I know, David. That was nice too. That was actually a good result. That's the thing that sucks. So many of these games went great for the Seahawks today, and then we do that against the Raiders. Oh, I would do that instantly, Rodney, but there's no way Gino would do it. Gino would hang up the phone immediately if that's what you offered him. Unless he doesn't care about money, which I'm sure he does. Like, why would he even come close to taking that deal? Paris Campbell to get 5.6 points for the win. Are you PPR? Then you should be good. Now, I think we all know, Marcus, that he's hurt, so how butthurt can he really be? 4 years, 100, still not enough. Not the way he's playing. The way he's playing, you're talking probably 3 years, 100. Something like that. That's the way it is. Unless Geno decides I don't really care about the money that much, that's probably what it's going to cost. Mentally prepare for it, people. Okay, Green Bay can get the ball back, but they're going to have like 40 seconds left and no timeouts. Going to be deep in their own territory. Yeah, this should not be a trap. Okay, people kept calling this Raiders game a trap game. This is not a trap game. Okay? This is not a trap game. You lost your last game. You don't get to have a trap game right after you lose. Yeah, of course, Willie. We should definitely prioritize pass rusher this offseason in general. This ain't no damn trap game. All right. Philly's got third down to put the game away. Even if they don't get it, it's probably over anyway. First down, and that'll do it. All right. So that's the end of the Sunday night game. Unfortunately, I don't really have too much else to say other than that kind of sucked. Our defense is back to square one, and we've got a lot of work to do to build back a little bit of credibility. So it sucks, but that's what happens when you have a team this young and inexperienced, and in some cases imperfect. They are going to find weird ways to lose games like this, and you got to roll with it. So I will see you guys tonight on Twitch if you decide to come join me. We're starting a new game tonight. It's called Judgment. I don't know that much about it, but we're going to have some fun for a few hours. Probably going to start sometime after 9, honestly, at this point, because it's already past 8:30, but I will be starting later. So hope to see you there. There'll be a video in the morning, and we'll get past this one quickly, right? All right. Catch y'all later. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with me tonight. Better days ahead, because tonight is not the best.